convenient. They drive you to your terminal, drop you off curbside in your own vehicle, and pick you up curbside when you return. To find out more, call 816-243-5880. That's 816-243-5880. KCI Car Care Center, the only way to fly.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Crash together. So close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We've got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts. Beer. And barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
KCFX HD4 Harrisonville, K279PI Kansas City, 103.7 FM. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for over 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Todd Surprise running the show. Jay's running the show back there at Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kirk Elliott, my partner for 25 years. Kirk, we got to start off by talking about the Dennis Allball Tower.
That's right. You and I were both at the grand opening on Thursday, and we'll get Bob Baker on here a little bit later on the hour to talk more about it. But huge turnout for the grand opening of the big Dennis Allball Suite Tower, which sits between Highway 14 and the main Hall of Fame building out in Turn 2 of the Knoxville Raceway. It's a good event.
That sidewalk is so close to the Dennis Allball Tower.
I think you and I were both surprised they were able to build another building right there in that space. We didn't think there was enough room, but there was enough room. So they had to get some approvals from the city and some other governmental agencies, but that was never going to be a problem for that. So this thing started going up right after the Nationals. They broke ground on it before the Nationals last year, but when we went back for the late model Nationals, they already had the girding up for the building, and boy, in just a few months' time, they went to work on this thing and got it completed in time for the season to start. It looks spectacular out in Turn 2, that new building out
right there. Hey, Kirk, I videotaped that entire press conference.
It's up on our Facebook page.
Yeah, it's on my Facebook page.
A lot of dignitaries spoke at that, including Dennis Allball, the guy who put up most of the money for it. Kyle Larson was there. He said a few words
Clausens,
as well.
They put up a lot of money as well, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
Well, I think Dennis of course, the Brian Clausen Suite Tower looks very much like the Dennis Allball Suite Tower. There's a couple of differences. There's a second floor on the new Dennis Allball Suite Tower. There's not a second floor on the Brian Clausen, but they had the observation deck up on top of the Clausen Tower, but no observation deck on top of the Allball Tower.
Hey, Kirk, tell them how big the Dennis Allball Tower was. The suite.
Oh, went up and took a look at Dennis Allball's suite, and of course he's going to have the best suite in the house, right?
Right.
It's double wide over the normal suite. And it is pretty spectacular view up there on the far eastern end of the building on the upper floor. And you look out, the view of that, you're right up over the turns 1 and 2. And you got an excellent, to me, that's the best view of the whole Knoxville Raceway, is the Dennis Allball Suite Tower. And you're taking a look over you're literally right over the track.
Right.
And you're seeing them coming into turns 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. So Dennis has got he was on the waiting list just like Kyle Larson was to get a suite. So they had to build another building to, get suites built for both Dennis Allball and Kyle Larson.
You've got some sound from Dennis Allball
we
as
do.
well.
We're going to play that a little bit later on in the show. And we also heard from Carson Macedo, who Dennis Allball is a sponsor of Carson Macedo and the Junior the Jason Johnson Racing number 41 team. So we'll hear from both those guys here a little bit later on in the show. And we'll also hear from Kyle Larson coming up here in just a little bit. Not only did we see Kyle Larson at the grand opening of the Dennis Hallbaugh Sweet Tower, but he got some laps around Knoxville Raceway with a practice session on Thursday night. Then I saw him up at Iowa Speedway yesterday and took a ride around Iowa Speedway with Kyle Larson. So we'll tell you more about that here in just a little bit, and got a few minutes with Kyle. We'll hear from him coming up here in just a few minutes.
We also got interviews from Logan Schuchart and Jack Wagner as well.
That's it. Jack Wagner, the winner of the non-wing sprint car races at Valley Speedway last Saturday night. They're supposed to be racing there tonight, but they got rained out.
They got rained out.
Yeah. So no races at Valley tonight.
We haven't heard anything about CMS, have we?
Not yet.
Yep.
Not yet. Fingers crossed.
Now, you and I were all excited about Friday night at Knoxville, but it didn't happen. No races at Knoxville last night. There was a persistent mist that came through town and just wouldn't go away. And about 6:30 last night, they had to pull the plug on the races at Knoxville. So we got one night to get in tonight. I think we're going to get it in. Let's keep our fingers crossed. 6 o'clock for hot laps tonight for the World of Outlaws at Knoxville.
Kirk, we made a good call coming home.
We did. We saw what was going to happen. You and I wanted to be in the studio, so we didn't miss a thing.
We're going to go up there tonight, though,
We'll be back up there tonight.
Right.
We didn't miss a thing, Scott.
So you guys didn't miss anything other than traffic and headaches.
Not only was it going to be, with the mist that wouldn't go away, but it was cold last night.
Yeah, it was chilly, wasn't it?
The winds were howling last night, and it was a raw cold. It was not going to be a good night. Even if it hadn't rained at Knoxville, it was not going to be a good night to sit outside.
We're going to be on the second floor of the Hall of Fame tonight.
Well, you might be up there. I'm going to be down in the pits.
Kirk likes to be down in the gunk of this.
I'm going to be down in the pits.
Well, make sure you bring a jacket just in case.
We didn't get to the pits on Thursday night because with the practice session, you better be in there before the practice session started or you're not going to get in the pits. So I didn't make it down there Thursday night. But
there was 43 cars at that practice.
There was.
Right.
They're expecting over 60 tonight. Some people were saying 70 cars will show up. I'm not sure we'll get that many tonight now that, last night got called off. But I'm saying we'll have over 60 in the pits tonight, don't you think?
I would say so.
So, hot laps at 6 o'clock tonight for the Premier Chevy Dealers Clash. It's a one-night-only event now, and keep our fingers crossed. I think we're going to get it in tonight. Most of the rain is not supposed to be around till tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I think you're going to be fine today. I mean, but tomorrow is going to be a little shaky around the Midwest.
Hey.
A little shaky, to say the least.
My daughter is going to have a party tomorrow.
Easter party.
Easter party.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to get rained out.
Well, I think it won't be all day, but they're calling for rain. So, I mean,
So you have to move stuff indoors tomorrow at your daughter.
Right.
Yeah. Well, happy Easter, everybody, tomorrow.
So you'll have to hustle back from Knoxville to make that.
I think I'm going to drive back tonight.
Well, be careful out there.
Yep. It is a holiday weekend, so be careful if you are on the highway out there.
I don't have far to go. I got Easter up in Iowa, so I won't have.
My brother's on his way to Iowa right now. He's on his way to go fishing. They're up early this morning, probably listening to the show right now. I told him, you better tune in this morning on 810 while you're driving. And so if you're listening out there, good luck. Have fun out there, brother. And I know it was busy. I drove in this morning, guys. There was a lot of cars on the highway compared to my normal 5:30 to 6 o'clock commute. There was a lot more cars.
What time do you normally get here, Todd?
I get here at between 6:15 and 6:30 is when probably 6:30 now. Now that we have to make sure everything dials in. We got a lot of stuff back here that
we got a lot going on.
You never know. Some of this equipment might not fire up. These guys might have to get in their car and drive over to WHB and do this show over there. So I always like to get here, make sure our telephones are working and everything. But, it's going to be a good weekend. I know it's a holiday weekend, so it makes it a little bit different. So be safe if you're traveling out there.
They did get some races in last night. Lakeside Speedway and US 36 Raceway.
How many cars was at Lakeside?
Let's see. Lakeside Speedway, they had 14 pure stocks, 13 E-mods, 13 B-mods, 11 stock cars. That's what they had.
That's not very good.
Well, all the weekly tracks, all the weekly tracks are struggling with car count right now and have been for a couple of years.
Yeah, and it's
not
early.
Just Lakeside.
How many cars were up at US 36 last night?
As we look at that, I see 22 pure stocks, 18 E-mods. They had 16 B-mods and 15 stock cars, USRA stock cars.
The temperature was a lot cooler here.
That car count was a lot better up there at US 36.
Yeah, a little, but not much. I mean, most of these places, and if you look at all the weekly tracks around the country right now, the car counts are down for the weekly shows. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one is the expense. Going weekly racing, then you have a lot of younger kids now that are not getting involved in racing like they did.
Hey, Kirk, I think weekly racing is a thing of the past.
Well, it's not like it used to be. Yeah, I mean,
Riverside used to get 2,000 people down there.
Yeah,
every week.
But that's back in the day when what else are you going to do on a Saturday night?
A lot less entertainment.
Right.
Everybody didn't have cell phones like we do today. You didn't have other options.
Kids
for
are
your
playing
entertainment dollar.
And kids are playing sports already.
Kids are they're interested in different things now.
Heck, Kirk was at a softball game all day yesterday, right? Yeah. So I mean, that's what happened.
Your niece didn't get to play.
I was sitting. It was so cold and raw. I had a view of the field from my car. I sat in the front seat of my car.
I've done that many times, sitting in that front seat when it's too cold to watch baseball.
It was a pretty raw day yesterday. I will say that. I was going to say congratulations to Jake Starmer, the pure stock winner at US 36 Raceway last night. This was opening night up there. Blake Hayes in the E-mods. Braden Bennett won the B-mod feature last night, and Jason Estes in USRA stock cars. And here are the winners at Lakeside. We had John Sheets winning the B-mod feature over Chad Clancy and Tim Carrick, who won last week, finished third last night. Stock car feature winner, you saw a good one last week. Well, Jason Weddingell wins again in the stock car. He holds off Buzz Castor.
Yeah, Buzz finished second. How about that?
Yeah. E-mod winner was Corey Myers and Marshall Jewett in the pure stock. So,
Marshall Jewett still.
Those were the winners at
having fun out there.
Hey, I raced against Marshall Jewett back in the day when we were on pavement.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we did a pretty cool segment on Marshall Jewett back in the day when we had our TV show, and when he had I think it was the Batman car out there at Lakeside Speedway. So pretty cool stuff. They're still running out there.
They did have a race up in Iowa last night at 34 Raceway in West Burlington, Iowa. It's the preliminary night of the Slocum 50 up there, and Bobby Pierce dominates that race over Dennis Erb Jr. and Brian Shirley. So they got that race in at West Burlington. The mist that was in the air up at Iowa was kind of centered around Indianola, Knoxville, that area. You went south. I was driving south on I-35, and I drove out of it about Osceola. So unfortunately, that heavy mist just kind of centered right around Warren and Marion counties up there last night.
Hopefully we won't get rained out tonight,
Hopefully.
Kirk.
So this time of the year, you just never know. It's just been a cloudy last few days, hasn't it?
Right.
Just kind of that
gloomy,
that cloudy, gloomy, anytime you have cloud cover. We were staying in the motorhome up there at the North Campgrounds. We got a pretty heavy rain during the night the other night. We were up there, in the night, Thursday night into Friday morning, it came pretty good little thunder shower through there while we were up there.
Yeah, you guys are going to be fine today. I mean, it's going to be a little chilly tonight, guys, so make sure you do bring a jacket up there.
Bring a heavy coat.
Looks like the high 58 today, and the lows are going to be in the 45s, but the wind's only going to be about 10 miles an hour, so you won't have a lot of wind to really deal with. But tomorrow, it's a lot of rain going on tomorrow.
And watch out for the bad storms out there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for my daughter, it looks like it's going to get rained out.
Yeah. Well, like you said, and this was for Knoxville. I know here in Kansas City that they're calling for some pretty big storms here in the Midwest, and it looks like maybe even Columbia might be the center of it all. So who knows what goes on tomorrow? But today's going to be a good day.
We're going to have to be on the watch driving down the highway tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Be looking out.
One place where the weather did cooperate last night, and it hasn't over the last few weeks, was Williams Grove Speedway in central Pennsylvania. You know, they've struggled to get the season open out there, but last night they got it in. Anthony Macri dominates the Tommy Memorial, the Tommy Heinerscheitz Memorial at Williams Grove Speedway. Macri at one time had a 5-second lead in this race. Grabbed the lead early and just checked out. Brock Zierfoss and Ryan Smith battling it out for second. Smith is driving the Don Kreitz car, 69 car. So Zierfoss and Smith had a pretty good battle for second, with Zierfoss, Smith, Freddie Raymer, and Danny Dietrich, the top 5 at Williams Grove Speedway last night. Attica Raceway Park had a 4:10 race last night, but the winner got DQ'd.
Why is that?
Scotty Thiel led all 30 laps last night. Unfortunately for Scotty Thiel, a post-race inspection showed he had a 2-inch wicker bill on top, which is against the track rules. I think you got to have, I believe it's 1 inch.
1 inch is what somebody.
So you had the wrong wicker bill up there. So Scotty Thiel gets DQ'd, and Devin Borden.
How about that, Devin Borden?
Who passed Thiel right before a caution flag flew, but wasn't able to keep his spot with 2 laps to go. He might have won anyway. Devin Borden might have had a chance to, if he'd got, if there hadn't been a yellow flag come out, he would have been able to keep his spot because he had passed Scotty Thiel. But Borden was handed the win last night at Attica Raceway Park, another racetrack they've had struggles getting weather in. So
yeah.
We didn't have the good weather here, but they had the better weather in Pennsylvania and Ohio last night. So I guess every place can have great weather at the same time in April.
Not in the springtime, right? All those stories you can find on our homepage. You'll see a little photo of it, but like you said, any of these stories we're talking about, you can go to racingboys.com and find all these stories. Kirk gets all these up on there bright and early in the morning for us, and we appreciate you checking them out.
NASCAR Cup Series is off this weekend, but they had Rockingham Speedway open back up. They had the truck race there yesterday and the Xfinity race scheduled for today. Tyler Ankrum wins the truck race last night at Rockingham. I've been to Rockingham. You've been to Rockingham, haven't you?
I have.
I was thinking it was like 1992. I went to a Cup weekend there. The traffic wasn't all that fun getting in and out of there. I remember that. But looking at the video of Fox FS1 last night, they looked like they spruced that place up pretty good. Press box up there looks the same as it did back then. But they've had some struggles getting Rockingham going. They've tried 2 or 3 times to get that place open and keep it going. But, there's supposed to be a sellout today. They had a pretty good crowd last night. We'll see if they can do it 2 or 3 years in a row before we say that, Rockingham is going to have a long-term future there. But it's open now, and there's a Xfinity race, about 3 o'clock this afternoon? We'll watch that on the CW network. But congratulations to Tyler Ankrum, the Truck Series winner last night.
You might be driving up to Knoxville.
I am driving up to Knoxville. You and I both are driving up to Knoxville.
I am.
So we'll be doing that after the show. And we'll be here Monday on our Mostly Motorsports show to talk about it. Hopefully talk about races, right? Hopefully we get it in tonight.
That'll be episode 357 coming up on Monday. At 356, interview with Logan Schuchart and Jack Wagner. Those interviews were really long. You're only going to hear about 10 minutes each of these interviews, but they were both about 20 minutes long, and Jack was almost 30 minutes. Jack's always gracious with his time, and Logan was awful nice with.
Jack's going to be disappointed he's not going to be able to race tonight and get a string going at Valley with it being rained out.
What about Logan Schuchart?
Yeah,
Logan Schuchart he's got a shot at it
Right.
tonight, don't you think?
I do.
He's had pretty good runs at Knoxville the last few years. Remember, last June, he was going to win that race up there. Everybody was there that night, including Kyle Larson.
Hey, Kirk.
But Corey Day had other ideas.
How about the priest throwing water on everybody?
The who?
During the ceremony,
During the ceremony.
Tell us about that.
they came in and blessed the building, didn't they?
He did.
I saw that on your
I think
video.
I missed that part.
I saw that on your live video when you can find, like you said.
I think I was still in the back of the room.
He
when
threw
that
water
happened.
right on me.
You got wet.
I did.
The Father. He blessed it.
That's as close as you've been blessed, right?
They also had the rededication of the Knoxville Nationals Champions Wall from the Levitt family. The Eddie Levitt family was all there, and they had a ribbon cutting for that. You know, they had a wall out there they had to do away with in order to build the building, so they redid the wall on the back side of the Dennis Hallbaugh Suite Tower. So they had that dedication right after the ribbon cutting of the Dennis Hallbaugh Suite Tower with the Levitt family there. So that was kind of cool.
Busy day up there.
Track Talk is brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the PowerRide Midwest Lightning Sprints. When we come back,
Kyle Larson,
we're going to play that interview.
Yes, sir.
That Kirk got with Kyle Larson.
And took a ride around Iowa Speedway yesterday morning.
How was that ride?
That was cool. Riding it was a red Corvette pace car that they're going to use at Iowa Speedway, and he was getting it around Iowa Speedway up there. I will say I was strapped in. I wasn't worried about it, but he was zipping around there pretty quick.
Right.
I'll say that.
All right.
It was fun.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. When we come back, Kyle Larson is going to be the man of the hour. And we'll be back with more Track Talk here in a moment. Stay tuned.
Track Talk.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
There's something special about McGregor's Butcher and
4 minutes, gentlemen, 4 minutes.
10-4, thank you.
grass-fed and grain-finished. Our premium cuts are meticulously selected from our own butcher shop, perfectly prepared and beautifully presented for your dining pleasure. Only at McGregor's Butcher and Bistro.
Come to McGregor's this Sunday for Easter brunch. Enjoy a classic breakfast or try special offerings like prime rib, the popular Highland burger, or Scottish salmon. Visit the website for details.
Ring the bell! We've done it again! Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Stephen St. John here. Is your lawn ready to be the envy of the neighborhood? Custom Lawn and Landscape makes achieving a green, weed-free lawn easy with their expert 7-step fertilization and weed control program. With over 40 years of experience serving Johnson County, they're excited to now be serving Lawrence and all of Kansas City as well. And here's the best part. Get your first application absolutely free. Call Custom Lawn today or visit CustomLawn.com to claim your free application and get started. Custom Lawn and Landscape, because beautiful lawns don't happen by accident.
Join Stephen St. John at the Deck Supply in the Northland, 8610 North Boardwalk Avenue for the spring sale. This Monday, April 21st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Planning a new deck? Now's the time to buy, as you can lock in on lower prices before costs go up. Plus, for a limited time, they'll cover the sales tax. Shop now and build for less this spring. Visit them in-store or online at thedecksupply.com. That's the Deck Supply in the Northland, 8610 North Boardwalk Avenue.
Les Norman here. I want to invite you to tune into my show, Breaking the Norm. Every week, my special guests join and we cover the brightest and most compelling side of sports. Inspiration, heart, and a whole lot of positivity from people who have lived life differently. Athletes, entertainers, and people like you and me, sharing their stories of challenges they've overcome, experiences that uplift, motivate, and celebrate the good side of sports and life. Breaking the Norm is presented by TruckMovers.com and First Federal Bank of Kansas City. Every Saturday on Sports Radio 810 at 7 a.m. and Tuesdays at 4 p.m. on ESPN Kansas City.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law.
How about 3 great reasons you should call us? 1, it's easy. You can hire us today on your phone, or we can come to you. 2, it's fast. We can start helping you today. 3, the results.
DM Law got me $331,000. Mike's got this.
I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
At Aristocrat Motors, come get your new car paired with a great experience. Now, you deserve luxury, top-of-the-line customer service, and a car you can depend on. Drive in style this year with your choice of 6 different brands all on one campus. Who else can say that? Aristocrat Motors, I-35 and Shawnee Mission Parkway, or shop us online at aristocratmotors.com.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
It's time to get this show started.
Round 1 begins Thursday.
I'm the most guaranteed person you could take.
Live from Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
They're both going to go pretty high, despite the fact that people say they should.
It's our first surprise of the night. This is a dream come true.
The NFL Draft on ESPN Radio.
Soren Petro here. Join me and the rest of the program crew as we give you the Kansas City angle on the NFL Draft. Our coverage starts at 6 p.m. Thursday, right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kirk, you had a chance to talk to Kyle Larson.
Yesterday morning, we were invited up at Iowa Speedway. They had a media function up there promoting the 2 big weekends of racing that Iowa Speedway has up there. The IndyCar is going to be up there in July. Kyle Larson will not be racing in that race, but he'll be there August 3rd for the second NASCAR Cup Series race at Iowa Speedway. And he took some of the media members, rides around Iowa Speedway in a red Corvette. We were zipping around Iowa Speedway yesterday thanks to Kyle Larson. But he's coming off a big high after a pretty tough weekend at Darlington a couple of weeks ago where he didn't make lap 4. Last weekend at Bristol was a whole different story as he made his second attempt to go for the triple, but falling a spot short at Homestead here a few weeks back and falling a spot short at Bristol. He finished second to Chandler Smith in the truck race, but he dominated both the Xfinity race and the Cup Series race on Sunday. And the first question I asked Kyle is about how difficult that is to go for the triple, and just his efforts to try to do that and how he's able to dominate Bristol.
It's definitely difficult because Kyle was the only guy to do it, and a lot of, I mean, I don't know if a lot, but I feel like a lot have attempted it, you know, so yeah, I was able to come up close both races or both times I did it this year. Just unfortunately came up a little bit short. So, but I enjoy it. I mean, it's really like me selecting those is not like the triple's not the thing that's on the front of my mind. I just really like to race and really like those tracks and want to make as many laps of those tracks as I can.
What is it about a track like Bristol where you've had all your dirt racing experience carry over to a high-banked half-mile track like Bristol?
Yeah, I think Bristol, to me, like the style of race is just the closest to a sprint car race. It's just 500 laps of like quick decisions and just fast pace and high intensity. So, yeah, it just feels natural to me, and I feel like I can process things efficiently and get through traffic efficiently. So yeah, I just love Bristol. It's fun, and always enjoy going there.
How difficult was that, the day you had at Darlington, to turn around and then come back in such a dominating weekend at Bristol?
Yeah, Darlington was a bummer. We're always really good there, and just, you just hate to crash, especially early. You know, I love making laps there. It's a lot of fun. So when I was into the wall on lap 3, I was just bummed because, you know, I was going to have to wait months until I get to go back there. But, I mean, you're obviously frustrated at yourself as you're sitting there in the garage, but you kind of just got to move on from it quickly and forget about it and not let it linger on, and you'll get excited about the upcoming week, which thankfully for us was a track that we know we're going to be really good at. So it's just all about executing at Bristol.
You're here at Iowa Speedway. What was your takeaway of this race last year, and what do you expect coming in here in August?
Yeah, the race weekend last year was really cool. I thought the atmosphere was great. I think every day was sold out here for the races. So, and then we had Knoxville racing down the road. So it was just a lot of race fans were here, you know, and it was just fun. And the racing on track here was really good. You know, our car was great, so I enjoyed it a lot. But unfortunately, got caught up in a crash. But I still had a great time, you know, during the race. I felt like you could pass way easier than we all thought we probably could. I look forward to coming back. I hope the race is just as good, and we can not get in an accident and have a good run at the, for a win.
That's 360 Knoxville Nationals weekend. You're going to try to run 360 car that weekend?
I don't know yet. We don't do much 360 racing, but it's here, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll probably decide. I would say a couple weeks before.
Well, let's talk Knoxville a little bit. On Thursday night, you took a few laps around. You're going to be racing this weekend at Knoxville. What'd you learn out there at a practice session on Thursday night?
Just trying. We've been qualifying well this year, so I think we just wanted to kind of verify that we were going to be good. Then we tried some other things on a race car to try and find some more speed, and I felt like we helped it too. So, I look forward to tonight and tomorrow. It's going to be a ton of cars from what I hear. Probably up close to 70 race cars, which is unreal for just a regular night. That's not nationals. So it'll probably be the toughest, race of the year, honestly, like single night races of the year. So got to be on your game. But we've been fast. So hopefully we can go there and start the night off good and have it carry on through the future.
Just talk about how important qualifying is. These races, competition levels so out there about how important qualifying is at these sprint car races.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially, really any format, but, the Outlaws, you qualify good, it just sets your night up really, not easily, but way easier. You start off the pole, the heat race, and especially on a half mile, things get strung out kind of quickly in the heat. Like David Gravel, he qualifies great every single night, and he's in a dash every single night, and that just opens up your opportunity to have good finishes, but opens up your opportunity to win too. So so far this year we've been qualifying well, which has been nice, and I think allowed us to win however many races we've won this year in the short amount of races that we've ran. So hopefully we can qualify good again this weekend. Last year when we ran Knoxville, I was in the fourth row, I think, both nights in the heat races, and had to just race your butt off to put yourself in contention. So, we've definitely put a bigger emphasis on qualifying this year, and it's paid off.
Yeah, you drew well at the Nationals last year, and that was important right out of the get-go, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially for us and how bad we qualify typically. So, we needed that last year. If I would have drew anything worse than the 20th car out, I would have qualified really bad, and it would have been much harder to win the Nationals. But so that helped us. But like I said, I think now our car is much faster, so our fate can be in our hands a little bit better.
The other big deal yesterday was the grand opening of the Dennis Hallbaugh Suite Tower. You finally got yourself a suite now at Knoxville.
Yeah, I've been waiting for quite a while. So was really excited when I heard that they had plans to build the Dennis Albaugh suite, and Bob Baker told me that I would have an opportunity to have one if I wanted it, and definitely jumped on that opportunity. So it was cool to go there and see the hard work that they've put in, see the layout of our suite and how that's going to work. So we've already been shopping a little bit, stocking it full of little bits and pieces, and just cool to have somewhere now that you can not only host my family and stuff, but partners if we have them in town, and just show them a first-class facility.
Finally, it's been a tough week in Hendrick Motorsports. John Edwards, a great guy. Just our condolences to you. Just what are your thoughts about John?
Yeah, thank you. Definitely a tough week, but one that I think we're all proud of, looking back on it now, just for how we honored him and how the sport honored him. And obviously winning on the weekend was great to win in his honor and get to talk to his family after Victory Lane and stuff. So like I've said in multiple interviews, he would not want us moping around being sad. So I think that's what's also helped keep us positive and energized throughout it all. So we're gonna miss him for sure, as I know a lot of the media members who knew him will miss him as well. So it's just a bummer, but you've got to keep trucking.
Kyle Larson, and we knew John Edwards. If you wanted to get anything with Kyle Larson, you had to go through John Edwards, and he was a great guy. We'd see him out here at Kansas Speedway, different places, and he was at the Chili Bowl down there. He'd flown in with Jeff Gordon, and
he was a long time Jeff Gordon.
Doing the Jeff Gordon was the Grand Marshal, and so he was around. But that was a shocker when we heard that news. Tough week for Hendrick Motorsports and everybody who knew John Edwards. Great guy.
Yeah, he was Jeff Gordon's guy for a long time too.
Long time.
So that's why Kansas Speedway, you saw him quite a bit of times out there at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah.
So
he was out there just about every time.
Yep. So sad to hear that, but like you said, good job for them the way they honored him last week. That was pretty good.
We'll miss John Edwards around. No question about that. Well, let's hear from the big guy at the Dennis Albaugh suite. Why not hear from Dennis Albaugh himself? He's become a major supporter of sprint car racing, and he's a pretty wealthy guy, and he's putting his money where his mouth is, but he's also a down-to-earth guy, too, and had a chance to visit the Dennis Albaugh suite in the Dennis Albaugh suite tower, and he took us on a little tour around there, and after that, we talked about it. Here's Dennis Albaugh. What's this mean for you to see this building completed?
This is unbelievable. As a kid, I used to sit over in the bleachers. I never ever thought I would have a suite over the other side of the track with my name on it. I couldn't be happier. And to pull it off and put it together in 1 year's timetable was unbelievable. And they did it. It's open. And I got a bunch of my friends coming down about the next 2 nights, and extremely happy with. And all the people at Knoxville been so nice to work with. I couldn't be happier.
Your support of dirt track racing and here at the Knoxville Raceway started when? How did you get involved?
Probably about 5 years ago. The guy that's right behind us, Tony Morrow, he got me into it. I said that, Tony, if I'm going to get in this, I want to get a driver and a team. Tony told me about the racing team, and then I met Carson and Philip. I don't know whether he's here or not, and they got me excited about it. And from that, when Carson finishes in the top 5 or 10 about every time, it's easy to get hooked into that sport.
Now, you got a big-time suite here, as you should, in this new building here. We're standing in it right now, the suite, looking the races. How excited are you to see races out of here?
Oh, man, I'm bringing the entire family down tomorrow night. Even I got a 2-year-old grandson that's into them now, and he'll be jumping up and down on one of the counters over there tomorrow night. I couldn't be happier. I'm very excited.
And, of course, you have big support of Carson Macedo and Chase Randall. Just talk about these guys.
You know, those are the two of the best that's out there. Chase is a youngster just getting going. He had a little bit of a rough start, but he's doing very well in the high limits right now. And then Carson, what can I say? He's always got me up in the top 5 there, and I couldn't be happier with him.
Now, you said at the ribbon cutting ceremony, you're surprised that they were able to fit this building in where they had it.
When they told me where this was going to be, I'm like, wait a minute, you're not going to build it over Highway 14, are you? And they said, no, there's room. And I really questioned them quite a bit because I'd been down here several times, but I was in both Mo Sinclair's suite and Tony Morrow's suite in the prior ones, and I actually didn't know this ground existed. And then they brought me down and showed me how it could fit in there once they had the building staked.
How big is this for Knoxville Raceway, Marion County Fairgrounds to have an addition like this?
You know, it's got to be very good. As you talk to sprint car drivers all around there, you ask them what's their favorite track, and every time it's Knoxville. And it comes out Knoxville, and it's got to be very exciting for the town. I'm very excited to have my name up on it. I couldn't be happier.
Congratulations on the big day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, how heady is that? You're a fan growing up at Knoxville, and you got a suite tower with your name on it,
right?
And the best suite in the house. That's pretty cool stuff.
That's pretty cool stuff.
We'll talk to Bob Baker here in just a little bit about the big day on Thursday and everything else going on. There's a lot of big things going on at the Hall of Fame up there. We got the Manzanita Speedway Salute starting up on May 1st, and
they're going to put 20 cars in there on the exhibit.
They got a lot of work to do to get that open on May 1st. It's not on display now because they've still got to move in those cars you talked about. But May 1st is when that opens up, so we'll talk with Bob and everything else going on in the Hall of Fame here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Track Talk is brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. When we come back, Bob Baker's going to join us next right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll be right back.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
3 minutes, gentlemen, 3 minutes.
Wellness. With all the benefits of getting older and wiser, well, the physical part can be a little bit tough. Think back to the energy you had in your 20s. It was amazing. Do you know you can have that again? There is so much new medical evidence that by balancing your hormones and vitamin levels, you can feel young again. If you're experiencing fatigue, brain fog, trouble losing weight, loss of your sex drive, mood swings, trouble sleeping, or an overall low energy, you do not have to live with it. Aesthetic Care Med Spa and Wellness has the answer. For only $199, you will meet with a true medical expert in aging and weight loss. They will review a thorough blood panel, listen carefully to your health history, and design a plan for you that literally can change your life. You do not have to live with feeling old. Turn back the clock today. Call Aesthetic Care Med Spa and Wellness at 816-326-7207. That's 816-326-7207 and at greatskinkc.com.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Crash together, so close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We've got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts, beer, and barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Icon is seeking healthy, non-smoking men and women ages 18 to 55 to participate in a clinical research study at our facility in Lenexa, Kansas. Women must be of non-childbearing potential. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 50 nights and 4 outpatient visits. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $27,550 for time and travel. Call Icon today at 913-210-5900. That's 913-210-5900.
1 minute.
Again, Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending, showing my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Here's the best kept secret in Kansas City, KCI Car Care Center, the Phillips 66 station inside the airport. Tired of riding the shuttle buses when you fly? Let KCI Car Care pamper you and your car. They offer valet parking and vehicle service while traveling out of town, which is both helpful and convenient. They drive you to your terminal, drop you off curbside in your own vehicle, and pick you up curbside when you return. To find out more, call 816-243-5880. That's 816-243-5880. KCI Car Care Center, the only way to fly.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Joining us now on the show is Bob Baker. Bob, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Doing good. Opened the museum up at 8 o'clock this morning and just getting ready for tonight's races. Looks like a much better day than yesterday.
Unfortunately, last night we got rained out. That was a bummer, wasn't it?
It really was. There was a lot of people really excited, to be here for the first time in the new suites over in the David Albaugh Suite Tower, and just people were excited for the opening races here in Knoxville and having the World of Outlaws in town. So it was kind of a letdown, but we'll just have to make up for it tonight.
Yeah, it was just kind of a heavy mist. It just wasn't a heavy rain. It was just a mist. It just wouldn't go away, would it?
It just persisted all afternoon, and everybody at the racetrack, and teams and Outlaws thought that, hopefully it would lift by the time the races came around, but it just never did. It stayed right through, until up at the end when they canceled there.
Let's talk about the Dennis Albaugh Tower. That was a great ceremony. There was a lot of people there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there were. We got 300 hats to give away to people to commemorate the event, and people were asking well after we gave those 300 hats away for hats. So we estimate we had pretty close to 400 people, and it got pretty warm on that second floor with all those people in there, but it didn't. It was a quick event. It was about 23 minutes, and it went very smooth. And Dennis Albaugh and everybody that got a chance to speak, had a good time, and hopefully the people that were there enjoyed it and got a chance to look at the new suites.
You had a lot of visitors. The mayor. Talk about the people that spoke yesterday.
Oh, gosh, there was the mayor of Knoxville, Brian Hatch, and the city has been very helpful, for us to build the building in a very tight space. We had to move the water main for the fairgrounds and the large transformer that powers all the buildings over here in Turn 2, and those were really big projects we had to complete before we could even start going vertical with the building. So the mayor and the city council helped us a lot. Of course, Jeff Savage, our board president, Father Dennis Hoffman from the Catholic Church here, St. Anthony's, and Knoxville gave us a blessing and squirted holy water all over Kyle Larson's kids. We had a good time.
Hey, I got a little water on myself.
Well, he was pretty generous when he was sprinkling the holy water around, so right. That was pretty fun. I'm trying to think who all else was there. Of course, Dennis Albaugh was there to talk and say a few words, and then the president of the Marion County Fair Association, the Fair Board, was there, Dustin DeMoss. And I think that was about it. And everybody kept it short and sweet, and we had a good time. And then we had some snacks from Rib Shack. Rib Shack's been so good to us. They're a great partner. They provided, little snacks and enough for everybody to eat, and some drinks, lemonade and iced tea. So we had a good time. Then people got to go through the suites and take a look at them.
It was a great time for sure. Is there a nicer guy than Dennis Albaugh? Yeah, we went up to his suite up there. We heard from him here just before we brought you on. But he is about as down-to-earth a guy as I've ever been around. He's been a great supporter of racing and at Knoxville over the last few years, hasn't he?
He sure has. The first time I met him for years, people had told me, you need to talk to Dennis Albaugh. You need to meet Dennis Albaugh. He's a really cool guy. He can help the racetrack. He can help you. Well, I never really did get to meet him until probably I'd say it's probably 5-7 years ago. It's been quite a while. And it was during the Nationals, and everybody kept saying, Dennis Albaugh's here. He's at the races. He's going to be in one of the suites. I'm like, okay, well, I'll kind of look for him, so I got on the elevator, and a guy goes, hold on, I want to get on there with you. And I was like, okay. And there's a guy in a Hawaiian shirt and a pair of shorts. Remember, this is August, the Nationals, it's hot. He had like a 12-pack, I think, a Busch Light under his arm. We got on the elevator, and for some reason, I asked him, I said, by any chance, are you Dennis Albaugh? And he looked at me and goes, well, yes, I am. How are you? I go, I'm fine. How are you? And that's how we met each other for the first time.
Well, I mean, he was standing up there with the crowd. He wasn't right up there in front, and he was getting ready to talk, and I chatted with him there for just a little bit. And then he showed me, when we went up to his suite, he's got this spectacular, I think it's the best view of the whole racetrack, I think. And he said, come look at this table. I want to show you this table over here. And I had the 2 engine blocks underneath of it. And he's got it all dressed up. But he couldn't be more excited about how this all came together. And also, Kyle Larson couldn't be more excited either, could he?
Kyle's got a suite for his family, and he's been on our waiting list for a long time. And, he wanted a place where the kids could kind of relax with Caitlin, while he was racing and doing everything up here. And it was nice after the rain out last night, Kyle and Caitlin and the kids were up there just watching cartoons. I think they were watching Cars or something. I'm not sure. It was a Disney Pixar thing.
Right.
And they were just relaxing up there with the kids on the sofa and, very relaxed atmosphere and having a good time. So it was nice to get Kyle a suite because he's been waiting for so long. And everybody else that's been on the list has been so patient with us. While we got this suite tower built. Kyle's been on the list for so long I can't even remember. So it was good to see Kyle get one and see him enjoy it, with all the amenities and everything they built into it. Caitlin actually did the design on his suite. She designed all the furniture and everything that's in there.
Hey, it's so hard to get a suite, isn't it?
It is. Right now, if somebody wanted a suite, there's 22 people on our waiting list that want a suite. And if we had the money and we had everything and the stars lined up right, we could lease those suites probably within an hour. I could call those people and say, we've got a suite. Do you want one? Yes or no? They'd say yes. I'd say, I'll call you back with the details. I'm just going down the list. And that's what we did. It took about 40 minutes to fill the 12 suites at the Brian Clausen Suite Tower because the people had been on the list and they were waiting and they knew we're going to build a suite, but they didn't know if they were going to get one or not. So those are nice calls to make when someone's been waiting, like Kyle or Dennis Albaugh has been waiting a long time too, and several other people in there. It's nice to be able to finally get them a suite when they've waited so long.
Hey, I want to talk about the Knoxville Nationals Champions Wall that you dedicated right after the ribbon cutting of the Dennis Albaugh Suite Tower. The Levitt family, they were all there. Of course, we knew Eddie Levitt very well, 2-time back-to-back Knoxville Nationals champion. But you kind of had to redo the wall down there, and you rededicated that on Thursday as well.
Yes, we had a very, very nice brick wall. It was the Knoxville Nationals Wall of Champions. So every driver from Roy Robbins in 1961 all the way through Kyle Larson's win last year had a little brick-type plaque, a driver's plaque, on that wall. And we had to tear that down as we were all sentimentally attached to it, but we could not build the building with that wall where it was because that's where the elevator sits now. So we wouldn't have an elevator or a back of the building if we hadn't torn that wall down. And so we were very fortunate we had the space on the new Dennis Albaugh Suite Tower to recreate the Knoxville Nationals Wall of Champions right there and get the plaques back up, put a black and white checkered sidewalk in front of it, get it lit up real nice so it really shines nice at night. And it really, just looking at it, it's much more attractive from the road driving by because you can read it. You really couldn't see what it was except for a brick wall when you're driving by because everything was so small, but the lettering's a lot larger and easier to read now. And the Levitt family is very happy with it, and that's a big thing for us.
Kirk and I have a Racing Boys brick.
Yeah, we saw it the other day, didn't we?
Right.
Yeah, we've got it up there in the second floor. That's kind of
overlooking the racetrack, so you'll be here all the time.
Right.
It's permanent. Hey, you've got a Manzanita Speedway Salute opening on May 1st. Tell us about that.
Yes, our track tribute to Manzanita Speedway will start May 1st and run through October 1st. We've got 8 race cars that raced at Manzanita Speedway. They're not replicas or duplicates or recreations. These are the real race cars that race at Manzanita Speedway. So race cars from California, Arizona, and out west. They've all been brought to Knoxville. We've got them here now. We have not put them in the museum. It'll probably be in the next week or so before the exhibit. But we've got a lot of videos to switch out and a lot of memorabilia with drivers' uniforms, helmets, and all of that goes with our exhibits here. And, of course, we'll have the T-shirts that we have the track tribute to Manzanita Speedway on and the posters that we always do. So we're excited about that. It's it's quite an undertaking to get cars from California and Arizona to Knoxville, Iowa. But thank goodness everybody that owns the race cars and has transport companies and that love racing help us a lot to get these cars here to put on exhibits. Otherwise, people that come here would not be able to ever see these cars that raced at Manzanita unless it was on a picture or video. They wouldn't get a chance to see them in real life.
Hey, I was told that there was going to be 20 cars put on display.
We normally have about 30 to 35 cars, but we will be switching out the museum right at the end of this month, and 8 of those cars that you heard about are the ones that are from west, from Manzanita, Arizona, California, Nevada.
2 minutes.
That raced at Manzanita.
Are we going to see the big yellow Corvette here before it's drawn for in August?
We sure hope so. We're still waiting for it to roll off the line there in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's a beautiful, bright yellow Corvette with a large spoiler on the back. It's the 2025 ZR1. It's the one they keep talking about that has 1,064 horsepower, goes 233 miles an hour. We've got our allocation. We're just waiting for Chevrolet to roll those off the line. And from what we've heard, the cars are ready, but there's a shortage of titanium or whatever they're building the big wings on the back out of now. So they're kind of on hold to get those put on as part of what they call the ZTK performance package. And they tested the cars in Nuremberg, Germany, and they said they had to have, this is the largest wing they've ever put spoiler on a Corvette. They said they had to put that on there to hold the car on the ground. Otherwise, the car lifts off.
1 minute.
It's quite a deal.
All right, Bob, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us here on Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We can't thank you enough for doing so.
Yeah, see you back up there tonight, Bob.
Thank you so much, and thank you both for coming up for the grand opening and for the rededication of the Eddie Levitt Wall of Champions. It was so nice to have you with us, represent Racing Boys and the Kansas City racing community.
It was a memorable event, no doubt about that. Oh, by the way, go to winacorvette.org if you want to get registered for the Corvette, too. So
thank you guys very much. You have a great day, and we'll see you in Knoxville.
See you up there.
All
Thanks,
right,
Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
The director of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, Bob Baker.
He's such a great guy.
They're all good guys.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fun being up there for that event up there and seeing the big crowd that showed up for that. And, it's kind of cool. They got a second floor, just like in the main building. They got a second, kind of extended the space of the second floor up there.
Hour number 2 coming up on Facebook, YouTube, and RacingBoys.com. You can watch it live.
Next hour, we're going to hear from Logan Schuart and Jack Wagner, and also Carson Macedo exclusively on Racing Boys.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Don't forget RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network, coming up next. We can't thank you enough for doing so.
Thanks to Jay, back on Sports Radio 810. Todd, great job as always.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter. And
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989,
Thanks, my man.
Rod End
Appreciate
Supply
it.
has provided superior products, price competitive.
No problem. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, have a happy Easter, brother.
You too, man.
Thanks.
Rod End's Radius Rods and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of Rod End's Radius Rods and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
So here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
From the circle track to the drag strip to off-road racing, Rod End Supply has been keeping their customers at the front of the field since 1989. Whether you need rod ends, tubular rods, or specialty products, Bob Douglas and his Rod End Supply staff are always ready to help you with your needs. You can visit them on the web at rodendsupply.com or call them at 800-284-2902. That's 800-284-2902. Rod End Supply, keeping you at the front of the field.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sabres 33 RLP. Let's go take a tour. Coming into this animal, we're going to take a trip back here to the feature of this trailer, the deck. Check it out. It's awesome. It's 4 by 10 feet. You can dance on this thing. Boom! Check it out. It's pretty nice. And then coming to the back of this thing, you got a 75-inch TV. It's huge. 60-inch fireplace. Nice and big, keep you warm. Then you got an ottoman that converts into a table, if you will, maybe some TV trays. Then this hide-a-bed that I'm pointing at, it comes out and folds into like a king-size bed with storage in the corner for all your linens. Great little addition to the trailer. Your dinette, of course. Then you're gonna come around to the kitchen with the tic-toc sink. It's got the spritzer and the waterfall and all that stuff. Residential style refrigerator. It's got the microwave and the oven that's residential as well. Big old pantry over here with motion detected lights, coffee bar, and then coming up to the bedroom, you'll have the bathroom first, nice and spacious with a seat in it for them ladies. And then we got the king size bedroom with washer dryer hookup. I'm telling you, this is a home run for a couples coach. Come and see me, Kyle Walker.
When Steve died, the outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
So we have a lot of folks come in interested in traveling for work. This is going to be a great option. Your Coachman Northern Spirit 2565 front kitchen. You have a nice wraparound full front kitchen here. Huge windows up top. Big 12-volt refrigerator. Lots of windows on the sides here. Great natural light coming in. You have your big TV over here on the swing arm bracket so you can kind of see it from any point in the room. Also have your bar stools here. Sit and eat your breakfast. In the bedroom, you're going to have a king-size bed in the slide-out. Lots of storage underneath that. Washer, dryer, hookup. Tons of storage with the drawers. Then you got your full bath across the back. When it comes down to a camper that you can get for 6,500 pounds and be under 30 feet long, this is an absolute home run.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and you are listening to RacingBoys.com, and if you're not, I swear to you, get in your truck or do something, but get the hell out of this country, because you don't belong in it if you don't listen to these fellas.
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Lucas Oil Speedway is rained out, Kirk.
Boy, it's got to be pretty bad to rain out this early at Lucas Oil Speedway, doesn't it?
Yep.
I mean, you got the paved pits, and
they know something we don't know.
You know,
right?
Must be pretty wet in Wheatland,
and gonna be getting more wet. I'm sure that's probably what the forecast.
So
is
we haven't heard the final word on Central Missouri Speedway. They're supposed to have their grand opening tonight for the 2025 season. Are they still on?
I haven't seen anything on Facebook.
We haven't seen anything yet.
So we assume that things are still in play for the opening night at Central Missouri Speedway. Valley Speedway has been rained out. They were supposed to have the second night of the POWRi War and MWRA sprint cars. Jack Wagner won the feature last Saturday night, and we had him on the show on Monday. We're going to hear from Jack here in a little bit, but
all right,
tonight is
update,
rained out.
Update, Central Missouri. Unfortunately, we are rained out for tonight.
They are.
April 19th. Hope to see you next weekend. Have a happy and safe Easter. So
they're done. Central Missouri Speedway.
Central Missouri.
Go.
That was as of 52 minutes ago or so.
Okay.
So
right.
Missed that one.
So it happened while we were on the air, and that's why we missed it. So that's why they just announced it. So like you said, you can't beat Mother Nature. It is what it is.
Hopefully we won't get rained out at Knoxville, Kirk.
You're looking good. I looked it up.
I think we'll get it in.
I think you guys are going to be – it's a little chilly. Make sure you got your jacket.
I'm going to stay on the second floor of the
there you go
the National Sprint Car Hall of Flame.
It's going to be up where it's warm.
Yeah, Kirk, you need to bring you a jacket, maybe a hat to cover your head.
Oh yeah,
and your ears.
We'll be ready.
Do you got one of those Racing Boys caps, Kirk?
I always wear
them. I need a new one. You got a new one out there?
Oh yeah,
that's clean,
right?
I got two.
The Racing Boys hats that I've got are dirty right now. I need a clean one. A brand new one if you got one out there.
I do.
In the box.
I've got one out there.
I'll use that.
I've been wearing, unfortunately, I gave one to my dad, and he's since passed away, and they sent back all of his clothes, from the VA hospital. And so I've been wearing the hat that I gave my dad. That's a Racing Boys hat. So the last picture I've got with me and my dad sitting together, he's wearing an RBN hat. So how about that? That's pretty good stuff. He was wearing a lot of Racing Boys gear his last year of life down there at the VA hospital. He had a lot of T-shirts, RBN T-shirts, and he was proud to wear those. So, like you said, we appreciate all the veterans out there that have taken care of us.
Scott's checking in from Talladega, Alabama.
How about that? Talladega's where it's at next weekend, right?
Yep.
Cup Series back in action at Talladega next weekend. Looking forward to that.
Marvin's checking in from Miamisburg, Ohio.
Welcome to everybody tunes in. We were up there at Knoxville. We had a lot of people approach us and say, hey, they listen to the show, and listen to you and me. And
Kelly's checking in from Central Point, Oregon.
She's here every week.
That's a he.
He. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
They're with us every week.
Every week. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. Usually my cousin Rick, he usually chimes in, but he might be working this morning. He's out in Colorado, I believe, out there working. But he might, heck, who knows? He might be on his way to Knoxville, Iowa. I do know a couple other people that are heading that way today, on their way there right now.
What do we want to play first?
Let's do
Todd?
Logan Schuart, huh?
Yeah, Logan Schuart's probably more relevant as far as everything kind of going, since he talks a little bit about.
He's the most recent winner on the World of Outlaws.
And
Tour.
also these interviews, guys. Episode 356 of Mostly Motorsports. This is a real short. We cut these things down to just 10 minutes today, a piece, 10 and 11 minutes each. Each one of these interviews was at least 20 minutes long, and Jack Wagner was a little longer than that. So go back to wherever you get your podcasts. You can go to racingboys.com on that homepage right there, and you can click that banner and you can get the latest one. Download that. Download any of the episodes that you think
you'll hear the full interviews.
That's right. They're the full uncut from the show, and you can fast forward if you don't want to sit through all the commercial break or whatever. If you just want to get right to the Jack Wagner part of the you can just fast forward right to that part.
Well, let's hear. We're going to hear from the top two finishers both Friday and Saturday at Peebly last weekend. Logan Schuart and Carson Macedo. We'll hear from Carson a little bit later on, but we had Logan Schuart on our Monday Mostly Motorsports show earlier in the week. He had a second-place finish on Friday night and a win on Saturday night. A big victory for the Shark Racing 1S crew. We call him the $1 Million Man, Logan Schuart. And let's hear part of that interview from Monday's Mostly Motorsports show. Logan Schuart. Hey, congratulations on the big win on Saturday night. That was a long time coming, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've been really good at Peebly over the years, but we seemed like we couldn't break through. We won the Ironman in 2018, but since then we've had many podiums. I think we've finished second 4 times since then. We only go 4 times a year, and sometimes we don't get that many. We might only get 2 or 3, but since then we've finished on the podium multiple times, multiple top 5 finishes, but just seemed like we couldn't break through, and I was a little disappointed on Friday night. Felt like we had a good shot to win the race, and Carson just did a good job on the restart to get by me, and then made himself very tough to pass. And even though we were the faster car, never got around him. But we had a second shot at it on Saturday, and we were able to hang on, get up front, make some good moves in our heat race, and pass some guys to get in the dash, and got ourselves starting up front, and we're able to kind of control the race in the main event and not let anybody get by us. So it felt really good to get our first win of 2025, and then to get our Federated Auto Parts car in Victory Lane and Federated Auto Parts Racer. It was pretty cool.
Hey, listen, you talk about trying to get around the other car. Talk about that a little bit. Sometimes they run down on the bottom and they run out to the wall. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, the racetrack did a really good job. I know you guys have had, we were hanging out in Texas last week, but from what I've heard the past 2 weeks, you guys got a lot of rain in your area, and the racetrack did a really good job at prepping the racetrack to keep the water from getting in the soil or the clay too much, and really had a really good surface for the weekend with all the rain that you all had. And the cars were all over the track. I think if a fan was spending their weekend for the first time at the sprint car races at Peebly this past weekend, I think they would have been spoiled, because the racing was great. You had cars all over the racetrack, and like I said, I could run high on the track. They got one on Friday. Carson Macedo did a good job making himself wide, hard to pass, right through the middle of the racetrack. And then David Gravel, I think, who finished third, was on the bottom of the racetrack at the end, making that work. So you had 3 distinct lines for the top 3 racing each other for a win. That's you can't ask for much more for a racetrack and as a race fan. And I believe we were the fastest car. I could get a run on Carson, enter in the corner, get to the apex, the center of the corner, and really get a big run on him. A few times there in traffic, I felt like I was ready to make a move, pull the trigger to get by him, but then the caution would come out. So the luck wasn't really on our side the first night, but there's no cautions the second night while we were leading, and they kind of played in our favor. So what little luck we didn't have on Friday kind of came back to help us out on Saturday.
Donnie Schatz had a pretty good run as well. He ended up running in the top 3. Talk about that a little bit.
I'm not sure. I don't know a whole lot about how Donnie's night went. They've been struggling a little bit this year, but I'm sure that was nice for them to get back up front, run top 3. Donnie is still, if not, he is one of the smartest drivers for sure still racing. I think he gets people talking about his age and that, and I don't think that's fair at all. Donnie is still a very, very good race car driver, and when his car is right, he's winning races. So they've struggled a little bit this year, I think, with their car and some of the things they have going on, but Donnie hasn't missed a step. So if they get their stuff figured out, they're going to be very tough. And but I got to focus on myself and my team, and Kyle Pruitt, Brendan Collin, Bill Klingbeil are doing a great job getting our race car right, and it's been a lot of fun to drive. We've had a very strong season so far. Like I said, able to pick up our first win on Saturday, and it felt very good.
We always talk about the quality of help out on the road. Talk about that a little bit with your good crew members.
Yeah, Kyle Pruitt, he's really done a good job for you so far, hasn't he?
He has. There's a lot of great mechanics in the pit area. But I'd like to believe I got the best ones in the pit. I have a dedicated group of guys that are passionate, want to be the best, they want to win. They keep their heads down, they work hard. And Kyle's new to the team this year, but he's doing a great job. You can see in our performance how we've done so far, how we started this year compared to last year. He's really doing a great job. Brendan's been with me for a couple of years, and he's always working hard, always trying to be the best. And our DNS or our mechanical woes are very minimal, and those guys do a great job. I'm very, very lucky to work with a great group of guys. And Bill Klingbeil is our manager, our PR representative, does a awesome job behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see at the racetrack to make sure our team's working on all cylinders. And I'm very, very fortunate to work with a great group of guys.
Yeah, Bill's a great guy. All right, Knoxville this weekend. This is a place where you've had some good success at Knoxville. I remember last June, you probably had the fastest race car. Last June, a field of over 60 race cars, and Larson and everybody was there that night. And yeah, I thought you had them covered that night. You've had great runs at the Nationals. What are your thoughts about heading to Knoxville coming up this weekend?
I always love going to Sprint Car Capital of the World. It's as a kid, you dreamed of racing there, dreamed of being a part of the Knoxville Nationals, and they just keep improving that place. It's amazing. I'm still in awe every time that I go there. I love being in Knoxville, getting a chance to race under those lights, and I enjoy it. We've been fast at Knoxville. We've run up front. We've been in victory lane there before, and it's been good to me. There's a level of confidence when you go there, and I think that helps. We're going to do a test session on Thursday and get some laps, which will be nice before we race on Friday and Saturday, and the weather looks good. So a little cool. We've never been there, or I have never been there in April before this early in the season, but it's always nice when you can go and get some laps before we come back in June, and then before the Nationals in August. So I'm looking forward to getting on the track.
Hey, both Kirk and I are going to be up there this weekend.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to get up there and watch the World of Outlaws race up there.
And this will be the first car, any sprint car's been on the track since last year up there. You're going up to test on Thursday. We haven't had any sprint cars up there since last year now, haven't we?
Correct. Nope. Thursday will be the first time any cars have been on the track, and we were able to get some laps last year when we were there on Thursday, and then some weather came for the weekend, and we ended up not racing on Friday and Saturday. So we're going to get out and run some laps on Thursday, and Friday and Saturday look good also. So looking forward to it.
You know, that I was thinking of that race last June. Corey Day ended up winning that night, but you had the fastest race car that night. I'm thinking that was your night, wasn't it?
Well, I think I was running more of a conservative line at first. I wasn't pushing the issue too hard, and when he had a chance to win, he's not racing for points or anything. He was racing pretty hard to get by me, and once he did get by me there, 3/4 through the race, I kind of started to get elbows up and try to get back by him, and we were able to. I had a lap car that kind of got in my way running the bottom, and I tried to get back to the top quick. Caught the right rear on the cushion, and it kind of turned me sideways and knocked the front end out of it. So that was disappointing, but no doubt Corey Day is a great young race car driver, has a bright future ahead of him, and he was very good at Knoxville last year. So I'm hoping we can go back and kind of redeem ourselves in that aspect, and just hopefully get another World of Outlaw win, another win at Knoxville. It doesn't matter what time of the year; they're always special if you can get a win at that place and get that confidence high before coming back to Knoxville later in the year.
Kirk, CMS is rained out. Lucas Oil Speedway's rained out, and Valley Speedway's rained out as well.
All tonight, but Knoxville, they're still on. So we'll look forward to seeing Logan Schuart up at the Knoxville Raceway tonight. He was one of the 43 that took practice laps up there the other night. We saw the 1S getting some laps around Knoxville Raceway for the first time. See what they I don't know what you get out of the hot lap sessions that help you for 2 nights later. What do you think?
I'm not.
We watched a little bit of it the other night.
43 cars up there,
including Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson was one of them.
Yeah, he did. Somebody was saying, I missed it last night when I was watching the Williams Grove races last night. New Shark Racing driver Cale Thomas took a nasty ride at Williams Grove last night. A little bit of fire coming out from underneath that car. That not a good opening couple of nights here for Cale Thomas, but I'm not sure it was his fault. He got kind of squeezed up into the wall at the early part of the A main last night. He had a fast race car. I think he won his heat race, if I'm not mistaken. And but early on in the feature event, after starting 5th, he got involved in a nasty crash. But it was all about Anthony Macri, who dominated last night's feature event, led pretty much the whole way, and winning at Williams Grove Speedway.
Hey,
last
Kirk,
night.
The season opener at El Paso Raceway, County Raceway, is rained out as well.
Now, where is that track located?
I'm
El
not
Paso?
sure.
You got me there. I'm not sure where that's at. We'll find out.
Right.
Carson Macedo was another driver that is somebody you need to watch out for tonight. The Jason Johnson number 41 spoke with Carson up in the Dennis Hallbaugh Suite Tower up there, because Dennis Hallbaugh is a big supporter of the Jason Johnson number 41 car. So got Carson Macedo's thoughts after a first and second place finish at Peebly last weekend. He won Friday night over Logan Schuart, but he finished second to Logan on Saturday night. Here's Carson Macedo. Carson, Dennis Hallbaugh's been a big supporter of yours here just to come for this ribbon-cutting ceremony, the Dennis Hallbaugh Suite Tower. What's this mean?
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, Dennis puts a lot into sport and a lot into JJR, and we really couldn't be happier to have him be a part of our team, and everything that they've built here at Knoxville Raceway with Knoxville Hall of Fame and the Brian Clausen Suites, and then now the Dennis Hallbaugh Suites is pretty special. So just really thankful that Tony Morrow was able to kind of hook us up back a few years ago, and ever since we got hooked up, it seemed like a dream come true of a pairing. So very happy with it all, and just to be here and see this all finished. I feel like we were just here not very long ago, and it was just a plot of dirt that they were going to build on top of, and now to be standing here in Dennis's suite and see all the 41 memorabilia and it's just really special. It's really cool. It's pretty surreal. So just happy for Dennis. He puts a lot into the sport, and the sport needs more people like Dennis. So we're really thankful to have him be a part of our team. And Philip Dietz and Brooke Dietz run an impeccable operation at JJR, and I think the addition of Dennis has just made it go bigger and better. So I'm very thankful for that.
What can you tell us about Dennis Hallbaugh?
Well, I think that anything that Dennis does in life is to the fullest. It's pretty clear. You could see that in his business. You can see that in his racing with the horses. You can see it with this Sweet Tower. You can see it with his involvement in the sport with the teams that he supports. I think he always tries to be, do the best he can in anything he does in life, and it's very clear to see that with the results that he puts on the board. So he's a great guy, and like I said, I think he's the ideal sponsor for any race team, because he brings that corporate sponsor to your team, but he's also such a down-to-earth, family-oriented, farmer that just runs a great business.
Coming into the weekend on a pretty good roll. You had a good weekend down at Peebly.
Yeah, we've been really solid here lately. We, our process has been really kind of impeccable. Our race team, Philip Dietz, Adam Zimmerman, Robbie McQuinn, they're all working really well together, and they're putting together a package that's really nice to drive on any given weekend. So we had a great weekend last weekend. We won the first night, ran second there, the second night at Peebly, and I thought that we were good enough to win really both nights. So I'm proud of that, and hopefully we can continue that momentum into this weekend, and do Dennis proud, in front of his family, and just a bit of a hometown crowd for them. So I'm excited.
David Gravel has been throughout the course of the early part of the season. These other guys are starting to step up a little bit now, aren't they? Carson Macedo and the 41 car. We've seen Logan Schuart. They're getting things together. Buddy Kofoid's going to have something to say about it before it's all over. Gio Scelzi. I mean, it's not going to be easy for David Gravel. I think it's still going to be really hard to take him down as the champion this year. But Gravel's not just going to go out there and dominate every night out. There's still going to be these other guys that are going to step in from time to time and win some of these races too. But the problem is consistency, and Scott, you gotta finish high like Gravel has. He had like 20 straight top 5 finishes, 14 to begin the season before he finished one spot out of the top 5 the other night.
He's got 15 starts, 5 wins, 14 top 5s, and 15 top 10s.
Yeah. I mean, that's
pretty good.
The key is having as few do not finishes as you can. You can't have bad finishes at any time during the season, but if he at least finish in the top 10.
He's got a 64-point lead over Carson Macedo,
which is not insurmountable.
Right.
I mean, Gravel would have to go through a bad stretch at some point, which I suppose could happen in theory. Is it likely to happen? Probably not, because they're so good. And
David Gravel is a great point racer.
Yeah, he's proven that. Before that, it was Brad Sweet, who's still doing it over the high limit side. So if you watch those guys perform, they just don't have any bad nights. And if they do, it's a jaw dropper. Even if they have bad nights, they have the crew to be able to rebuild the car and get it back out on the racetrack and get a decent finish out of it. We've seen that out of Brad Sweet how many times, Scott? On the high limit side.
Right.
They get a destroyed race car and they rebuild it and maybe get lucky enough to have time to get it rebuilt and back out on the racetrack to get a top 10 finish out of it. That's how these guys have won championships this year. Because some of these other guys are running as well. If you look at it from a performance standpoint, these other guys have got the speed to compete with David Gravel. But the consistency just isn't there for most of these other guys if you want to try to win a points championship. But the point I'm trying to make is that Carson Macedo, Buddy Kofoid, Logan Schuart is really starting to look much better and more consistent than he did last year with Kyle Pruitt as his crew chief. And Gio sells he's going to have his moments this year. And Sheldon Hodenshield, we're still waiting on him to step up and perform like we've seen him do in the past. So the competition is still out there for gravel to contend with out there, and it's not over yet. I mean, this is still April.
Right.
You know, we still got a long way to go.
Again, CMS, Valley Speedway, and Lucas Oil Speedway is rained out.
Yeah, just, it's Easter weekend. It's not hard to pull the plug. Even if it's just a little bit iffy on an Easter weekend, you're probably just going to pull it, right? For maybe any other weekend, you might wait it out a little longer.
Hopefully they're not going to rain out up at Knoxville this weekend.
I think we're going to be okay. Todd, you saw the forecast up there. Did you
I'm
see
getting
the hour by hour?
Yeah,
at
I'm
Knoxville?
getting ready to pull it
I
back
haven't
up
looked
again.
at it yet.
You guys are going to be fine today.
Yeah.
It's like I said.
Tomorrow is the big. But who cares?
Yeah, so I'll pull. Here's the
about any. There's no races scheduled tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, so you're going to be fine. Like I said, looks like maybe just here's the little forecast, but it's down south, so you got nothing really even in all of Iowa.
So the big
up there.
glob you're looking at is surrounding Wheatland, Missouri,
Yep.
Lucas Oil Speedway, and
Absolutely, heading towards Iowa, Indiana.
south of us.
Indiana, Illinois, and heading up there. But as you can see, we're looking at a full 4 hours on that right there, and we're fine. So you're going to be fine. A little chilly though, guys. Like I told you, 58. It's probably going to be.
I'm going to be warm.
Yeah. So just know if you're going to be out there in it, but looks like no rain. You guys are going to be good. But if you're in the Ohio region, looks like in that area, they're going to be, as you can see on that map there, they're going to be getting some rain up there towards that direction, even through a little bit of Pennsylvania. It looks like what is that, Meadville and Scranton, maybe just a little bit.
Williams Grove got it in last night. I guess we'll see about Port Royal, Lincoln, those places. Some parts of Ohio is going to get hit, but I think we're going to be good up at Knoxville.
Absolutely, going to be. So if you missed out on some racing, go on up there. I know it's tough to get a ticket all the time, but I think you'd be all right, Kurt?
Yeah, no, it's there are plenty of tickets available.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I know it's it's like a destination ticket. So if you want to go, get on up there. This might be your day.
This would be the night to do it because they're going to have a hell of a field of cars up there tonight.
Absolutely.
With High Limit being off this weekend, you're going to get a lot of those guys. We saw Brad Sweet up there practicing the other night.
Right.
So
NASCAR's off too, so you got Kyle there. I mean, it's the best of both worlds.
You're going to have everybody up there tonight, except for Anthony Macri. He's not going to be able to make it.
You want to do that, Jack Wagner?
Sure can.
Jack Wagner is the feature winner from last Saturday night at Valley Speedway and the season opener for the Power Eye War and Midwest Wingless Racing Association event. He put it on him out there last Saturday night. He went past Wyatt Burks on the outside for the lead and then just checked out from there. And he's one of the more engaging personalities we've ever had on this show.
He's a good guy.
He's a fun guy to be around. And you'd be down there in the victory circle. I was down there right after he crawled out of the car. He has the best victory lane of any driver out there. I will say that. First of all, he's got a lot of fans that come down. Of course, Jack Hockett, and everybody associated with Jack and Connie and everybody was down there in victory circle. They know how to celebrate a win.
Right.
I'll just put it that way. Well, earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports, we spoke with Jack Wagner, the winner at Valley Speedway, and here's a little bit of that conversation.
What does Jack Hockett mean to you?
Absolutely everything to me. I mean, he gave me my shot to be in a sprint car, one of the most legendary sprint cars that ever came out of the state of Missouri. In both wing and non-wing fashion, we've definitely grown. We still have a whole long way to go, but I'm proud to carry on the Jesse Hockett name, and I'm very proud whenever I come back into the pits to see Jack smile and Connie going absolutely nuts because we do so well.
Hey, is that Frankenstein?
That is not Frankenstein. I killed the last Frankenstein we ever had back in 2019 is when it was. I killed Frank 5 and I killed Frank 6, come to find out. But no, Robbie Hockett still has the original built by Jesse Hockett and Tom McGarry Frankenstein in his shop just outside of Lone Jack, Missouri. This car is the car that I've been running since 2021, actually. We put it together. We bought it used from somebody, and I ended up absolutely destroying that car at Lakeside at the tail end of last year after winning 3 or 4 races with it, a championship with the POWRi War Series in 2023. And after wrecking that car, I figured, you know what? I want to put my faith back in it. It's got me this far, and I think I can take it a whole lot farther. So I took it up to Dan Muselman and all the guys at Maxim. That crew put it back together, and it's just as fast a rocket ship as she once was. I can't thank those guys enough for the hard work they put in to put out really good race cars. And luckily, all the guys on the Wagon Boys, Jesse Hockett Racing crew can continue to make these things fast.
You started third. Talk about that. You got to start up towards the front to win these races, don't you?
Especially in the group of guys we have. You're not going to outrun Wyatt Burks, Wesley Smith, Kyle Shipley coming in from Indiana to come race with us, Chase Howard, Cody Baker, Samuel Wagner. All these guys are getting faster and continuing to stay up front, especially with POWRi's and MWRA's new format of qualifying during your hot lap session. That adds, to me, another layer of we have to be on our game, because if you're not in those top 4 in heat races, well, now you're going to make your night even tougher. Luckily, both of the Jesse Hockett Wagon Boys racing cars came out on top of our qualifying. My brother ended up being first in his group. I was first in mine. But now that just means the guys that are hundreds of thousands of seconds behind you are now in front of you in your heat races. So I know that I watched my brother put on a heck of a show in his heat race, and we ended up doubling up as well in mine and battling out with Cody Baker and Wesley Smith. And those guys are not easy to beat, especially on a racetrack that's got any bit of tacky to it, because they stand on it and they're not afraid to throw slide jobs. So to be able to move forward and then to really move forward on a track that was technical in the feature, it was an all-around great night for us.
Well, when you went out to qualify, you posted the fastest qualifying time in the three
That's what I heard.
sessions.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, 13:672. But the track changed after those on the drive. They came out and worked the track a little bit after that, did they not?
They did. They poured a little bit of water to it, and luckily we were the third class out that night, so we weren't in complete water standing on top of it. We had the grace of some of the classes in front of us ironing it in for us, and the heat races were phenomenal to race in. You had a bottom line. You had a cushion you were able to run to. So from top to bottom, Green Valley Speedway put on a heck of a show for the fans. I hope they enjoyed it, because I know all the guys I talked to after the heat races really did.
Marvin is checking in from Miamisburg, Ohio, and Ricky Millsap is checking in from Indy.
Yeah, they're saying, say hi to Jack. Hey, Cody Baker got up, I don't know if he got up into the loose stuff up there. How tough was that to manage that high side? Because it didn't treat Cody Baker very well there during the A-Main.
I had to go back and watch film to really pay attention to it. It was technical. It was not something that I've seen at Valley for a while. It was definitely a cushion, and it was hard packed. It was roughly 6 to 8 inches tall, and if your right rear grabbed onto it just right, it was tossing the car around completely. So I know Cody Baker. I know he's not going to take no for an answer, and he's going to throw it in there as hard as he can. And for a while, he was doing it pretty good. I think he just took off. He bit a little bit more of the shoe on one corner just by complete accident, and ended up collecting Wesley Smith and then another good competitor, Tom Curran, along with him. So it was unfortunate to see all three of those cars wreck out, because I know all three of them had really good shots to come and really make contention for that race. But it made it just I ended up taking this little bit of breath. I was like, all right, there's a few less guys for me to worry about, but I know that's not going to happen every time, and I know they're going to be just as hungry come next week at Grand Valley, Missouri as well.
It was a little rough over there in 3 and 4, wasn't it? There was
absolutely
a 3-car pileup
That was where people got collected when Cody Baker got up into the loose step up there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you got another race there this Saturday night. You're going to be right back there doing it again. Do you expect to see a much different racetrack or about the same?
Well, if I know Valley Speedway, I know you can't ever expect for that place to be the exact same thing twice. Dennis always they're always messing with that racetrack and making it something completely different every time we go there, which I like because they always make you on your toes. You never expect it to be the same thing twice. If it is twice back to back, I think we got good shape, but you always go in there with an open mind because that racetrack's going to be fast and cowboy up, or it's going to end up being slow, technical, and meticulous to get through that race. So we're going to go into Valley Speedway with an open mind and hope these cars continue to be fast.
What do you prefer, technical or
just
I would have to say whatever the track gives me. As long as I'm sitting in the seat of a race car, I'm happy.
That's a good attitude to have. You got to be adaptable, don't you?
That's what it takes to especially run with these guys. If it's going to be technical, I'm expecting Wyatt Brooks to be out front. If it's something hammered down, I'm expecting Wesley Smith, Cody Bacon, a whole bunch of these other guys to be really fast. So if it's one way or another, we have fast guys around here, and it's fun running with them.
All right, let's talk about the merger, so it be the MWRA and POWRi now joining forces here. What are your thoughts about the news in the off-season that we have one series now?
What do you think about that?
I am extremely excited. I have been wanting this to happen since the split happened. Splitting the fields on the same night with the caliber of cars we have in local Kansas City, it was a shame, in my opinion, for a while for everything to be split up because on the years that Wyatt Brooks was running MWRA, some other guys were running POWRi, and it was splitting all the great talent. Well, now all the talent's back in one spot, and it all allows all of us to get better off each other.
You're going to be going to US 36 Raceway. We see Sweet Springs on the schedule, Double X, Macon Speedway. I was told that's not a points race, but you're going to Macon, Illinois, and
yes,
talk about the different race. Of course, you love Lakeside Speedway as well. You're going there later in the year, and of course the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial coming up later in the year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Sweet Springs, I'm extremely happy to go back to there again. That's a place I cut my teeth running micros, and whenever we get the opportunity to run sprint cars, it is always put on a show. I know for years everybody was really scared to see sprint cars on there, but they always put on one heck of a show. If anybody wants to put a racetrack to go to and put on the bucket list, go watch sprint cars at Sweet Springs. That's always a good time. I have not spent near enough time at US 36 over the years. I know that POWRi and NWRA always clash of who was able to get racetracks. I know NWRA had it for quite a while, so that'll be a racetrack that I have a feeling that myself and my brother will definitely have to adjust to quite quickly. But Lakeside, I know me and my brother are extremely quick there. Macon's going to be a lot of fun. I watch a bunch of film, especially when the USAC National boys head over there. It's going to be tight. It's going to be technical. But I saw my good buddy Wesley Smith go over there and have 2 top 10s last year. So if Wesley Smith can do it, I think the rest of us can do it. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Samuel really getting the hang of this thing, isn't he? He finished 6th the other night. Talk about how Samuel's doing in that 73 car.
Well, what can I say? He's a defending world champion. He was really consistent last year. I expect to do the same thing again and see the same thing out of him. But I know he's hungry. He's still searching for that first win. The offseason, like, are you excited for the championship? It was like, yes, I am excited for it, but I'm way more hungry to get that first win. So expect Samuel to give no takes. He ain't going to let nobody off with any slack. He's going to take everything he can get because he's hungry, and so am I. And so are everybody else that's running this series, especially with the combination between Warren POWRi and MWRA. We're all happy. I am happy that it's back. I know everybody in the Jesse Hockett Racing, Casey Platinum stable is all happy about it. I hope everybody is too. The car count that we had the other night was amazing with 23 cars. And I know a few guys were still left in the shop, either had to work late or couldn't get everything put together. But hopefully, at least by June, I'm expecting to see B-Mains coming out of this series.
Oh, that would be fantastic if you had that. And that you really need enough to have it be main, do you not?
I think it adds to the potential of all the drivers. I know when I started racing sprint cars back in 2018 with the Jesse Hockett crew, we had 32, 36 cars almost on a nightly basis. And I think that added pressure of I don't want to be in the B main really helped me develop, and I think it would help a lot of others develop as well. I know that nobody wants to go home early, but I think that makes everybody just as hungry to get better for next week.
Hey, Jack, you're one of the better racers in NWRA and WAR. Talk about that a little bit. You really shine a lot when we see you out there racing.
On different kinds of racetracks.
What can I say? I used to run wing micros forever. I watched my father run wing. I watched Jack and Jesse Hockett run wing forever. And coming to the non-wing series, it took me a long time to really develop a love for it. And truly anymore, I love non-wing racing. I love watching it. I love running it. I don't classify myself as one of the best. I'm not the best around here. I'm definitely not the best in the country. What I am is good enough to try and put on a show for the fans.
There you have it, Jack Wagner.
He was the big winner the other night. Next race, since tonight is rained out at Valley Speedway, is the Mike Franks Memorial Race at US 36 Raceway next Friday night. That'll be a race to go to.
Right.
As we honor Mike Franks. And I got to be honest, it's not going to feel right going into US 36 Raceway not seeing Mike around. Unfortunately, we lost Mike last fall. And his presence, he built that racetrack up there. And the Franks family is keeping it going, including the drag strip. John Bowler is running the dirt track and going to be up there every Friday night. And but it's not going to be the same.
They had a pretty good car count last night.
Yeah, they had more than Lakeside had last night.
Right.
So, anyway, they did get the races in last night. So, when we go up there on Friday night next weekend, they honor Mike Franks, the founder of US 36 Raceway. And he did build that track. He built that track.
Yeah, but he did.
He didn't hire. He did it. He did the work. And so it's going to be quite a night up there to honor the life of Mike Franks, who sadly is no longer with us. But that's where non-wing sprint car, and he built that track for sprint cars.
He did.
He's a big sprint car fan.
Mike Franks, he always made that track heavy.
He liked fast.
He liked
fast. But, fast is not always the best racing either.
Right.
All the time, But Mike was big on, let's break some records here. Let's get these guys around the track in a hurry. And a lot of times they didn't make for the best race.
Right.
But we're very sad that he's no longer with us. But, they need to put a statue out in front of US 36 Raceway. Mike Franks statue. That would be very appropriate.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think they need to put a statue out in front?
I think so. But his presence will be there forever, even though he's no longer physically with us.
Right.
So the race at Valley last Saturday night, the two big instances, one had to do with Cody Baker, who got up into the loose stuff in turn number 4 and got up and then come down, and Wesley Smith got collected. I thought Wesley Smith had a chance to maybe give Jack and Wyatt Burks a little bit of a challenge there towards the end. But he got caught up in that incident with Cody Baker and was not able to be that. So it was Jack Wagner, Wyatt Burks, Brad Wyatt, Kyle Shipley, and Luke Howard, your top 5. Chase Howard had a pretty nasty flip down there in turn number 2. He crawled out of that car, was okay, but that was probably the biggest incident of the night. But certainly Jack Wagner was the star in the Jesse Hockett number 77 car. And so congratulations to him, and we appreciate him being a part of the show on Monday. We don't know who's going to be on the show this coming Monday yet. We'll see what happens up at Knoxville tonight and see who wins some of these other races around the country.
Do you got some more sound, Kurt?
We'll have a couple of guests lined up. I do have interview here from the president of Iowa Speedway. His name is Eric Peterson. He's doing a great job up there. And of course, last year was the first year they had a NASCAR Cup Series event at the track near Newton, Iowa. And they're geared up for a big 2025 season. And I asked Eric yesterday when we were in the media room up at Iowa Speedway about this coming season, which includes Indy cars once again this year. And we will get that rolling right now.
We're coming off a really successful 2024 season, and we're building on that momentum moving into the year. We're very close to being sold out for that Cup race, just a couple hundred tickets left. Encourage anyone that hasn't purchased a ticket yet, make sure you get over to iowaspeedway.com and do that. So our focus in the off season is improving the facility from a fan and a guest experience perspective. A very specific example is we are hosting the Busch Light Summer Concert Series during pre-race on Cup Day. We're adding more crossover gates to the facility to allow more fans to come down, make it easier, seamless, and an overall really good experience for the folks that are coming to the infield.
The change of the date for the Cup weekend here at Iowa Speedway. Last year you had it in June, first weekend in August now. How big is that change?
It is, and I think with the evolving NASCAR schedule, we're always going to see a little bit of a change with all the races. It's allowed us a little bit more time from specifically an Iowa Speedway perspective to focus on those types of things, to improve the experience and to work on the facility and make sure that thing is ready by IndyCar, certainly for the July weekend, but ready for that NASCAR Cup Series weekend in August.
Now, IndyCar's got a long history here at Iowa Speedway. Just talk about that weekend a little bit in July.
Well, that's a great weekend, and the most recent news regarding that weekend is the announcement that Sukup is now the title sponsor for that weekend. I think that is a perfect marriage of partnerships right there. Sukup has been a longtime supporter of Iowa Speedway. It's an Iowa-based ag company. It really leans into the identity that we have at Iowa Speedway, and we also work with them on the NASCAR side. So just a perfect fit for that IndyCar weekend, and we are really excited about that announcement.
And there he is, Eric Peterson, the president of Iowa Speedway. Got a big season coming up. Indy cars, you used to have them out here at Kansas Speedway, but it's been since 2010 we've seen Indy cars, but they've had them up there on a pretty regular basis at Iowa Speedway.
When was the last time they ran Indy cars up at Iowa Speedway?
Well, they had last year. The last several years they've had them up there, and double-header weekends. They've had races on both Saturday and Sunday over the last several years, and the last time they ran a IndyCar race at Kansas Speedway was 2010. That's a long time ago. So if you want to see Indy cars, you go to Iowa Speedway to see that. And last year, Penske, I think, won both those races. Scott McLaughlin and Will Power, after Joseph Newgarden dominated in years past. So it seems to be a Penske racetrack up there, but they're having the Indy cars up there 3 weeks before the Cup weekend? Those events may be a little bit too close together, don't you think?
I would agree with that, Kirk.
Probably need to spread that out a little bit because they probably don't have any choice. The people at Iowa Speedway don't have any choice about those schedules, so they'll take the dates that they're given.
We want to remind people that Valley Speedway, Lucas Oil Speedway, and CMS is rained out.
But Knoxville is still on.
It is.
And I think 34 Raceway up at West Burlington is still on tonight. That is where they're going to have the Slocum 50 for the Mars late models. Last night, Bobby Pierce dominated the event. If you start Bobby Pierce on the front row, he's probably going to win, right?
Chances are he's going to win.
Yeah. Now, the night before, Brandon Shepard won at Cedar County Raceway in Tipton, Iowa. But last night, B-Shep, who's driving his family-owned car this weekend, struggled to get inside the top 10, even after he won in pretty impressive fashion on Thursday night. B-Shep had a little bit tougher time cracking the top 10. He did get into the top 10, made a late charge and ended up in 6th after starting 5th, but he was outside the top 10 for a good deal of that race. So Bobby Pierce was the winner over Dennis Erb Jr., Brian Shirley, Carson Ferguson, Shannon Babb, rounding out the top 5. Then B-Shep finished in 6th place. Tonight will be the main event of the Slocum 50 at 34 Raceway. They had almost 40 cars there last night, so if you want to watch some good dirt late model racing, you can see that up on Flow Racing.
How many cars do you think they're going to have tonight up at Knoxville?
I think over 60. I don't think they'll get the 70 that they were looking for earlier, but I think I'm going to say 63 cars.
63 cars.
That's my prediction.
I'm going to say 59.
Be a little short of 60.
Right.
Well, whenever you get a night rained out, you're supposed to be a doubleheader weekend, and you get iffy weather forecasts. Maybe some of the guys who had planned on driving in from long distances away may have had second thoughts about coming in, not knowing, what it's going to do. That's going to cut your car count down just a little bit. So I'm gonna. You say 59. I'm going to say 60. What did I say? 62. That's my prediction.
You said 63.
63. Okay, I'll go with that. 63.
Right.
I can't remember from 1 second to the next what I said. How we doing on our predictions, Todd? Last week on our
we did all right
Cup
last
Series
week.
predictions.
I did all right last week. I think so. Last
you picked
week,
Kyle Larson, right?
I had Larson, yep, and I had Larson and Blaney. And Scott had Bell and Larson, and Kirk, you had Byron and Blaney. So I got me a win finally there, and looking good. We got a week off this week, and I think we'll be back at Talladega. Is that right, Kirk?
Talladega next weekend. Yep. Now that's almost impossible to predict.
Yep,
how those
that's
races are gonna
put the
turn out.
dartboards and just throw a dart at it, right? Because that's
right.
That's who can
I'm going
win.
to say Kyle Larson does not win Talladega.
Yeah, that's a pretty good.
That's an easy prediction.
That's an easier prediction.
Since he's
than,
never won a
true.
super speedway race.
I'm always
going to
pick C. Bell.
Yeah, I think you might see. This is early. I'm not going to put it down, but I think you might see Busch finally try to get him a win at this track.
Boy, that RCR team, they're looking for something to happen.
They're just looking, and I think they're going to throw a lot at this race, knowing that anybody can win these races. You know that, and just be at the right place at the right time.
Right.
That's kind of how it has to be at these big ones.
We're 3 weeks out from Kansas Speedway, guys.
Getting close. They're already out there getting lawns manicured, and porta potties have been delivered. I've seen stuff out there getting ready. It's a little different looking out there. There's a lot of construction going on.
Mother's Day weekend this year, right?
Yep. It happened a few years ago. I remember stopping and picking up a Mother's Day card at the old Target up here on the way home from Kansas Speedway for my wife one year. So it's been out there before on Mother's Day weekend, and it looks like we'll be doing it again this time.
They came out with a release the other day that the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race that'll be on Saturday night, May 10th, is now called the Heart of Healthcare 200. Put out a new logo and did that over the weekend. The ARCA Series is going to be out there one of 2 times this year.
Yes, sir.
And also the NASCAR Cup Series race will be on Sunday, May 11th, Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
And
So
that is called the Advent Health 400.
Yes, sir.
That race. And you remember that race last year?
Right.
Larson won by
That was the tight one.
thousandths of an inch.
That was the close race. That's the one there.
1/1000th of a second, I
Yeah,
should say.
that's the one they're selling tickets on for the next few years. That was
right.
Beat Chris Buescher to the line. I'm standing down there on pit road watching that go down, and all the pit crew guys from some of the other teams are out there that run around. They were all going, "Who won?"
Yep. Nobody knew nothing.
Nobody knew who won. And we looked up at the board, and it had the 17 car as the. And I thought, well, it's got to be Buescher, right?
Nope.
No, they don't go by the transponder. They had to go back to the
official video.
And they got a laser line that goes. They don't use the painted line on the racetrack.
No,
they
there's
got
a laser
line, and so it took them a few seconds to determine that Larson was the winner, despite what the transponder said.
Right.
We know the paint can be bumpy and stuff, so that's why they've come up with the laser type line. So it's exactly straight across. There's no. But I'm with you guys. It was a really good race out there.
And you remember that was the night after he finished second to Brad Sweet in the high limit race at Lakeside.
Yep.
So he was out there racing at Lakeside the night before, and Brad Sweet, his brother-in-law, beats him, and then comes back out to the big track the next day and wins.
I got the interview with Brad Sweet after that race and Kyle Larson a little bit after that race out there at Lakeside Speedway. And
now they're not going to be racing up against the Truck Series this year. They just got one night out at Kansas Speedway, and that is the Friday night.
Which ought to be a big race.
Is the one night that you'll see the high limit at Lakeside Speedway.
And it ought to be packed because there's no other.
And Kyle Larson will be racing at that.
Absolutely. And there's no other high limit around, right? Closest one for World of Outlaws or high limit. So
I didn't ask Larson anything about Indy because I figured, well, let's wait. We'll see him in a couple of weeks out here at Kansas City. I'll ask him about Indy then because he'll be already been in a car.
Yep, by then he'll have
practicing
tested.
by then.
Marie says Ryan Blaney.
She's picking Blaney.
Yep.
Blaney's, he's had good runs this year, just hadn't been able to close the deal. And a lot of it is not his fault. One night when he had a grenaded an engine down there at Homestead.
Marie says, love the Indy cars on Iowa Speedway.
Yeah.
When Kansas Speedway had the Indy cars, it was amazing.
Those were good races too.
I was a season ticket holder for those days.
That's where we got to know Dan Weldon. God rest his soul. He won a couple of races out there back. Remember, he was such a cool guy that he came out. We were doing shows in the fan walk in behind the media center, and Dan Weldon, both times he won, come out there and did interviews with us after he won. He was a great guy.
He was an awesome guy.
Yep, that was fun stuff out there. It's too bad they don't have Indy out there racing again anymore, but I'm not sure within.
There were some good IndyCar races.
Well, it had the closest finish ever at one point. Indy at Kansas.
Who was it? Buddy Rice. I forgot who was the won a race, the side-by-side race.
Yeah, it was super close. That was a great race. And it's always fun when you watch the Indy cars.
I remember the first IndyCar race out there. It was as hot as I can ever remember in Kansas City. That was a hot weekend.
So I had season tickets, and my tickets were in turn number 4 right there coming out of the and right on the side, and they had a mist. They'd have to set those. They set a misting tent up, guys. A giant
4th of July weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they had a misting tent like you have, and people were just in there just trying to get some kind of relief. It was brutal. That matter of fact, there were cars catching. So some of the cars that had driven in from real far away, some of the catalytic converters were catching some of the grass on fire.
Right.
Out there in the park, out in the grass parking. I mean, it was so hot that weekend. I'll never forget that was. And then another weekend, I remember walking out there during a storm, lightning storm, trying to get to my car and thinking, man, I'm going to get hit by lightning walking through.
Dodge a couple of tornadoes out there, too.
Absolutely. Well, if you're in Kansas,
the thing I
you're
remember about that first weekend it got so hot is Ricky Hendrick won the truck race.
He did win that truck race.
He did.
Yeah. Well, we better wrap this up and hit the road, right?
Kirk,
we got to go to Knoxville.
Going to Knoxville. Be careful if you're driving. Like you said, it's a holiday weekend, too, so don't think it's just a normal Saturday weekend. There's a lot more traffic out there, and so be mindful of that. Watch your speeds, watch your lane.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB and RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. It's all been brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We can't thank our guests enough.
And thank you, Todd. Surprise.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. You guys, like I said, be safe, man. Don't rush it. Get up there safe for us.
We'll be here Monday. Talk about what we see tonight.
All right.
12 noon.
We'll talk to you next week right here on Track Talk.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.